Captain Jae-ho Kim stood at the bridge of the ESV Defender, Earth's flagship defense vessel. His eyes were fixed on the large screen that showed strange light patterns at the edge of the solar system. "What do you think it is?" he asked his crew. "Tactical." Officer Tae-yeon Cho looked up from her station. "Sir, these energy readings don't match anything in our database. They're getting stronger." Captain Kim nodded and opened a communication channel. "Admiral Lee, we're seeing unusual activity near Jupiter's orbit. Request permission to investigate." Admiral Han-Sol Lee's stern face appeared on the screen. "Permission granted, Captain. But stay alert. I'm sending 2 more ships to back you up." Back on Earth, Dr. Soo-min Park rushed through the halls of the Global Space Agency. Under her arm, she carried a tablet with first contact protocols that she had spent years developing. Her heart raced with excitement and fear. After decades of searching the stars, humanity might finally meet aliens. "Dr. Park," called a voice. President Yoon-hae Bae walked quickly toward her. "Is it true? Have we found something?" "Yes, madam." "President, the energy signatures are unlike anything we've seen before. They're too ordered to be natural. Someone is coming." President Bae took a deep breath. "Then we must prepare. Humanity has dreamed of this moment for centuries." Within hours, Earth was buzzing with the news. Screens around the world showed the strange lights growing brighter near Jupiter. Scientists worked non-stop to analyze the EEA signals while military forces went on high alert. In orbit around Mars, Captain Kim and his crew waited nervously. The Defender was Earth's best ship, but it was built for exploration and defense within the solar system. No one knew what they might face. "Captain," called Tae-yeon, "something's happening." The space in front of them seemed to bend and twist. A massive ship emerged from nowhere, followed by another and another. Soon, 50 huge vessels filled the space before them. "My God!" whispered Captain Kim. "Get me Admiral Lee, now!" On Earth, Admiral Lee stared at the images in shock. "How many are there?" 50 ships, sir. Each one is at least 3 times the size of our largest vessel." The Admiral's face hardened. "Captain Kim, hold position. Do not approach until we know their intentions." He turned to his staff. "Wake up every soldier, pilot, and ship captain in the system. Now!" Dr. Park entered the command center, her face pale. "Admiral, we need to send greeting messages. They may not understand our intentions if we just line up our ships." Admiral Lee nodded. "Do it. But I'm still putting our forces on alert." Dr. Park worked with communication experts to send simple messages of peace in every format they could think of. Mathematical sequences, images of humans, basic language patterns, all broadcast toward the alien fleet. Hours passed. The alien ships moved slowly toward Earth, ignoring all attempts at communication. "They're not responding to any of our messages," Dr. Park said, worry clear in her voice. Captain Kim watched from the bridge of the Defender as the alien ships approached. "Maybe they communicate differently than we do," he suggested. "We should approach carefully and show peaceful intentions." Admiral Lee agreed reluctantly. "Captain Kim, take the Defender forward as a greeting party, but keep your shields up, just in case." The Defender moved slowly toward the alien fleet, lights blinking in patterns that Dr. Park hoped would be seen as friendly. 2 other Earth ships followed at a distance. "Still no response from the aliens," reported Tae-yeon. "Wait, I'm detecting energy buildups in the lead ships." Captain Kim felt a chill run down his spine. "Shields to maximum, evasive maneuvers." Before he could finish speaking, beams of intense blue light shot from the alien ships. The 2 Earth vessels following the Defender exploded instantly. "They're attacking! All ships, retreat!" shouted Captain Kim as the Defender shook from a direct hit. "Shields down to 30%! On Earth, screens showed the sudden attack. People watched in horror as humanity's first contact turned into a slaughter. "Get our ships out of there!" ordered Admiral Lee. "All planetary defenses online now!" The Defender took another hit as Captain Kim desperately tried to escape. Half his crew was already dead, and systems were failing throughout the ship. Engine. "Room! Give me everything you've got," he called. As the damaged defender limped away, a message broadcast on all frequencies. The voice was oddly flat and mechanical, clearly translated by some advanced system. "Humans of Earth, your resources are now ours. Your resistance is noted but meaningless. Surrender or be eradicated. You have 12 hours to decide." The alien fleet continued its steady advance toward Earth, methodically destroying any human vessels in their path. In the Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Lee gathered with world leaders. "What are our options?" asked President Bay, her voice steady despite the crisis. "Their technology is far beyond ours," Admiral Lee admitted. "Our weapons barely damage their shields. But humanity will not surrender." Dr. Park spoke up. "We need to know more about them. There must be something we can use against them." "Agreed," said Admiral Lee. "Captain Kim, did you gather any useful data before your retreat?" Captain Kim's injured face appeared on screen from the medical bay of Mars base. "Yes, sir. The aliens call themselves the Varaxians, and I noticed something strange. Their ships changed course to avoid Saturn's rings. They seem very concerned about certain types of space debris." Dr. Park's eyes widened. "That could be important. I need to analyze this further." As the Varaxian fleet approached Earth, humanity faced its darkest hour. But deep in secure facilities, around the world, scientists and military leaders began working on a desperate plan. If the aliens wanted a fight, humans would show them what Earth was made of. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, inside Earth Defense Force headquarters, world leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Screens on the walls showed the Varaxian fleet moving closer to Earth. Time was running out. "We have less than 10 hours, before the aliens' deadline," said President Yunhai Bay. Her face was tired but determined. "What options do we have?" Admiral Hansol Lee stood up. "Our regular weapons can't break through their shields. But there's something we haven't tried yet." He nodded to a woman at the end of the table. "Director Kang, tell them about Project Sunfire." Director Jiwon Kang opened a secure folder on the table screen. "Project Sunfire is a weapon we've been developing in secret for 5 years. It uses a new kind of energy that might penetrate alien shields." "Might?" asked the president. "We haven't been able to test it fully," admitted Director Kang. "But the science is sound." As they talked, Dr. Soo-Min Park burst into the room. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I found something important." She placed a tablet on the table. "The Varaxians' communication signals contain unusual data. Their biology is very different from ours." "How does that help us?" asked Admiral Lee. Dr. Park's eyes were bright with excitement. "They evolved on a planet with very few elements. They've never encountered a world like Earth with such diversity." Engineer Minseo Yoon, who had been quietly listening, suddenly spoke up. "What if our weakness is actually our strength?" Everyone turned to look at her. "Earth has thousands of different elements and compounds. What if some of them are harmful to the aliens?" President Bay leaned forward. "Explain." "The Varaxians avoided Saturn's rings," Engineer Minseo continued. "What if certain common materials on Earth are dangerous to them? We need to capture one of their ships to find out." Admiral Lee shook his head. "Impossible. Their ships are too well protected." "Not the big ones," said a new voice. Major Do-hyun Choi stepped forward from the shadows. His Special Forces uniform showed he had just returned from a mission. "But we've spotted smaller scout ships entering Earth's atmosphere. We might be able to capture one." The plan came together. Quickly, Major Do-hyun would lead a team to capture a Varaxian scout ship. Meanwhile, Director Ji-won would prepare Project Sunfire, and Engineer Minseo would work with Dr. Park to find potential weaknesses in the alien biology. 6 hours before the deadline, Major Do-hyun and his team hid in the mountains of northern Japan. They watched as a small Varaxian ship landed in a clearing to take samples of Earth's soil and plants. "Remember," Major Do-hyun whispered to his team. "We need the ship intact and at least one alien alive." When the Varaxian scouts left their ship, Major Do-hyun's team moved in. The battle was quick but difficult. 2 human soldiers died before they managed to stun the 3 alien creatures and secure the ship. Back at the secret base in the Himalayas, engineer Min Seo worked frantically to understand the alien technology. The captured Varaxians were kept in special containers while Dr. Park studied them. "Amazing," she said, looking at the test results. "Their bodies can't process many elements that are common on Earth. Calcium is like poison to them." Engineer Min Seo looked up from the alien ship's controls. "That explains why they're staying in orbit. Earth's environment would be toxic to them in many ways." Director Ji-won entered the lab. "Can we use this information with Project Sunfire?" "Yes," said Engineer Min Seo. "If we modify the energy signature to match these frequencies, it should disrupt their shields and expose them to space radiation they can't handle." In orbit, the Varaxian fleet began bombing Earth's military bases. Cities around the world went dark as power systems failed. The aliens were systematically destroying Earth's ability to fight back. "They're not waiting for the deadline," Admiral Lee reported grimly. President Bay stood tall despite the crisis. "Then neither will we. Is Project Sunfire ready?" "We've installed the modified system on our remaining ships and satellites," said Director Ji-won. "But we can only hit part of their fleet at once." "We'll need a distraction," said Admiral Lee. "Something to make them group their ships together." Just then, Captain Jae-ho Kim appeared on the main screen. His face was bandaged, but his eyes were clear and determined. "My ship is repaired enough to fly, Admiral. The Defender can lead one final charge." "That would be a suicide mission, Captain," said Admiral Lee. "Not if we time it right," said Engineer Min Seo. "Captain Kim can draw their attention while we position our satellites. When the main fleet moves to attack him, we'll activate Project Sunfire." The plan was set. With less than 2 hours remaining before the aliens' deadline, Earth prepared for its most desperate battle. The remaining military forces gathered for what might be humanity's last stand. Captain Kim returned to the bridge of his damaged ship. Half his crew was gone, replaced by volunteers who knew they might not return. "Are you sure about this?" asked Tactical Officer Tae-yeon, her arm in a sling from their previous encounter. Captain Kim nodded. "The Varaxians think humans are weak because we're diverse. They're about to learn that our diversity is our greatest strength." As the ESV Defender prepared to launch, Engineer Min Seo made a final adjustment to the Sunfire device. "This has to work," she whispered, "for all of us." Around the world, humans looked to the sky where the Varaxian ships could be seen like new, menacing stars. No one knew if they would live to see another day, but humanity wasn't going down without a fight. The ESV Defender floated in space, looking small and broken against the massive Varaxian fleet. Captain Jae-ho Kim took a deep breath as he gave the order. "All power to forward shields. Begin approach." On Earth, Admiral Han Sol Lee watched the screens with a grim face. "Captain Kim is in position. Start the clock." Engineer Min Seo Yoon checked her devices one last time. "Project Sunfire satellites are ready. We'll have one chance at this." The Defender moved slowly toward the alien fleet, joined by Earth's few remaining ships. They looked like toys compared to the massive Varaxian vessels. Inside the main Varaxian ship, the alien commander watched the approaching Earth vessels with what passed for amusement among his kind. The humans send their damaged ships against us, he said to his officers. Their primitive brains cannot accept defeat. Back on Earth, Commander Ju-eun Kwon led her team to a special hangar where 12 small black ships waited. These stealth vessels were Earth's secret weapon, too small to be easily detected and each carrying a modified sunfire device. "Remember your training," she told her pilots. "Stay invisible until you reach your targets." Pilot Hyunwoo Shin, the best pilot on Earth, checked his ship's systems. His mission was the most important. He would target the Varaxian command ship. "Launch stealth squadron," ordered Admiral Lee. The 12 black ships slipped out of Earth's atmosphere, their special, coating-absorbing radar and light. They moved silently toward the alien fleet while Captain Kim's ships drew the Varaxians' attention. The Varaxian commander ordered his ships to form a battle line. "Destroy these humans quickly, then we will take their planet." As the aliens focused on Captain Kim's approaching force, they didn't notice the small shapes moving through space behind them. Dr. Soo-min Park worked frantically in her lab, studying the captured Varaxians. "Admiral, I've confirmed it. The aliens are extremely sensitive to certain radiation frequencies common on Earth. Their bodies can't handle it." "Can we use that?" asked Admiral Lee. "Yes. I'm sending the exact frequencies to Engineer Min Seo now." In her control room, Engineer Min Seo received the data and quickly adjusted the sunfire devices. This will make them much more effective. Sending the updates to the stealth squadron now. Captain Kim's ships were now within firing range of the Varaxian fleet. The aliens opened fire and 2 Earth ships exploded immediately. "Evasive maneuvers," ordered Captain Kim. The Defender shook as energy beams grazed its shields. "Keep their attention for 2 more minutes." Behind the alien fleet, Commander Ju-un's stealth squadron moved into position. "All ships report ready," she said quietly. Pilot Hyunwoo guided his ship directly behind the largest Varaxian vessel. His hands were steady on the controls despite the danger. If he was detected, he would be destroyed instantly. 30 seconds, came Admiral Lee's voice over the secure channel. On the main battlefield, Captain Kim's diversion was working too well. The Defender took a direct hit, and half the bridge controls exploded. "Shields down to 15%, reported Tactical. Officer Taeyeon, blood running down her face from a cut on her forehead. "We just need a few more seconds," said Captain Kim, helping an injured crew member. "Hold on!" "Target locked," reported Pilot Hyunwoo from his stealth ship. "Ready to deploy Sunfire." "All stealth ships, deploy on my mark," ordered Commander. Joeun. 3, 2, 1, mark! 12 Sunfire devices attached to 12 Varaxian ships and activated simultaneously. The devices didn't explode. Instead, they released a specific energy pattern that interfered with the alien shields. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the shields around the targeted Varaxian ships flickered and failed. "Shields. Down on 12 enemy vessels," shouted Taeyeon, "including their command ship." Captain Kim didn't waste a second. "All ships, focus fire on the unshielded targets." Earth's remaining vessels fired everything they had at the suddenly vulnerable alien ships. The Varaxians, who had never experienced shield failure before, were caught completely by surprise. On Earth, Engineer Min Seo activated the second phase of their plan. Hundreds of modified satellites in orbit began broadcasting the specific radiation frequencies that Dr. Park had identified as harmful to Varaxian biology. Inside the alien ships, the Varaxian crews began to experience pain as the radiation penetrated their vessels. Their bodies, evolved on a world with limited elemental variety, had no defense against Earth's diverse radiation spectrum. "What is happening?" demanded the Varaxian commander as his officers collapsed around him. "How are they doing this?" The humans pressed their advantage. Captain Kim's ships continued their attack while Commander Ju-un's stealth squadron deployed more Sunfire devices on additional targets. "It's working," said Engineer Min Seo, watching the data from her control room. "Their ships are becoming disorganized." The Varaxian fleet, which had seemed unstoppable just hours ago, was now in chaos. Several ships attempted to retreat while others continued fighting despite their crews suffering from radiation exposure. On the lunar colony, which the Varaxians had captured earlier, the aliens suddenly found themselves vulnerable. the human. Colonists, who had been hiding in sealed underground shelters, seized the opportunity to fight back. Admiral Lee watched the battle with growing hope. "Send the message to all Earth forces. Attack with everything we have. The aliens are vulnerable." Around the planet, military bases that had survived the initial assault launched missiles, fighters, and every weapon they had. The Varaxians, caught between Captain Kim's forces, Commander Ju Yun's stealth ships, and the newly launched Earth weapons, began to lose ships. "Send a message to the Varaxian command ship," ordered Admiral Lee. "Tell them this is just the beginning. Earth will not surrender." As the message was sent, 3 more alien ships exploded. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity dared to hope they might survive. The Varaxian High Commander, Vex, stood on the bridge of his damaged ship. Half his crew lay on the floor, sick from the strange radiation humans had somehow directed at them. No species had ever fought back so effectively against a Varaxian. "Fleet, launch all remaining ships," he ordered. "Target their major cities. We will not be defeated by these primitive beings." On Earth, Supreme Commander Sang-Hoon Park received the warning from their newly established monitoring systems. The aliens are preparing for a final attack. They're targeting civilian areas now. President Yunhai Bei's face was tired, but determined on the screen. "Do we have any options left?" "Yes," said Engineer Minseo. "I've been studying their communication systems. I think I can hack into their fleet network." "Do it," ordered Supreme Commander Sang-Hoon. In space, the battle continued. Captain Jae-ho Kim's Defender was barely functioning, but it still fought alongside Earth's remaining ships. The Varaxians had lost nearly 20 vessels, but they still outnumbered the human forces. All ships, fall back to defensive positions. "Around Earth," Captain Kim ordered. "Protect the population centers at all costs." Commander Ju Yun's stealth squadron had lost 4 ships, but the others continued placing sunfire devices on alien vessels. Pilot Hyun Woo had already disabled 3 enemy ships and was approaching his 4th target. "I'm in position near the Varaxian flagship," he reported. "But they've increased their sensor sweeps. They might detect me." "We need that ship disabled," said Commander Zhao Yun. "It's a risk we have to take." On Earth, Engineer Minseo worked frantically at her console. Dr. Sumin sat beside her, providing data on Varaxian biology. "Their systems are complex, but they never expected anyone to break in," said Minseo, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "I'm getting through their outer security layers." The Varaxian fleet moved toward Earth, ready to begin bombardment of civilian targets. Suddenly, 5 of their ships stopped responding to commands. "What's happening?" demanded High Commander. "Vex, someone is in our network," reported a Varaxian officer, shock in his voice. "They're taking control of our systems." Engineer Minseo smiled as her screen showed successful connections. "I'm in their weapon systems, shutting them down now." Across the Varaxian fleet, weapons powered down and ships began drifting. The aliens had never faced an enemy who could hack their advanced technology. "Impossible," shouted High Commander Vex. "How are these humans doing this?" At that moment, pilot Hyun Woo's stealth ship reached the flagship. He quickly attached his last sunfire device and activated it. "Flagship targeted," he reported. "Sunfire device active." The device worked instantly. The flagship's shields failed, and the special radiation flooded the ship. High Commander Vex felt his body weakening as the human radiation affected his biology. "All Earth forces, focus on the flagship," ordered Supreme Commander Sang-Hoon. "Capture it if possible. We want their commander alive." Captain Kim led the remaining Earth ships in a precise attack that disabled the flagship's engines and remaining weapons without destroying the vessel. "We've got them," he reported, allowing himself a small smile despite his injuries. Special Forces teams led by Major Do-hyun Choi boarded the crippled flagship. They moved through the halls, finding most of the alien crew incapacitated by Earth's Radiation! They reached the bridge and secured High Commander Vex. "The Varaxian commander is captured," reported Major Do-hyun. "The flagship is ours." On Earth, people cheered as news spread that the alien fleet was in retreat. The remaining Varaxian ships, seeing their commander captured and many of their vessels disabled, were fleeing the solar system. In the Earth Defense Force headquarters, High Commander Vex was brought before President Bae and Supreme Commander Sang-hoon. Ambassador Ye-jun Kim, who had been quickly appointed to handle this historic moment, stood nearby. "Why did you attack us?" Ambassador Ye-jun asked the alien commander. "We sent only peaceful messages." High Commander Vex looked at the humans with new respect. "We have conquered 100 worlds before yours. All surrendered when they saw our fleet. None ever fought back so effectively." "Earth is different," said President Bae. "Our strength comes from our diversity, the very things you thought made us weak." Engineer Min Seo stepped forward. "We've analyzed your ships. We could destroy your entire fleet now if we wanted to." "Then why don't you?" asked the alien commander. "Because that's not who we are," said Ambassador Ye-jun. "We offer terms instead. Leave our solar system. Tell others that Earth is protected space, and know that if you return as enemies, we will be ready." High Commander Vex considered these terms. In all his years commanding the Varaxian fleet, no species had ever shown both such fighting ability and such mercy. "I accept your terms," he said finally. "The Varaxians will respect Earth's territory." As the remaining alien fleet retreated, humanity began rebuilding. The captured alien technology would help Earth advance by decades. Captain Kim and his crew were honored as heroes, along with Commander Ju-yoon's stealth pilots and all who had fought to save Earth. "What do we do now?" asked Dr. Sumin as they watched the last alien ships disappear from their sensors. Ambassador Ye-jun looked at the stars. "Now we prepare. The galaxy knows about Earth. They know we defeated the Varaxian fleet. Some will respect us for it. Others may see us as a challenge." President Bae nodded. "Then we'll be ready. Earth has proven that humans should not be underestimated." As word spread through the galaxy about the small blue planet that had defeated the previously unbeatable Varaxian armada, one thing became clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had arrived not as victims, but as a force, to be respected. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, and thanks to the courage and ingenuity of its people, it would face the future standing tall.